Alarms scream through the cabin, and my hands shake on the controls as the shuttle spins toward the frozen surface below. Sparks burst from the console. Smoke fills my lungs. I have 4 seconds before impact, and no time to think, only to brace. The crash throws me sideways, metal groaning around me like a dying animal. When my eyes open again, everything is silent except for the wind howling outside a cracked hull. My name is Daniel Wren, cargo pilot, and I am the only one who survived this landing on a moon that does not belong to my kind. I pull myself out through a broken hatch, blood on my temple, oxygen reader blinking red. This moon, called Ashven, belongs to the Drashkari, a race of dragon-like beings who rule half this sector and do not tolerate humans wandering their territory. If a patrol finds me here, I will not be rescued. I will be erased. I limp across broken ice, searching for shelter, when I see it. A crater, still smoking, filled with shattered metal and shells the size of boulders. A nest. Something big crashed here recently. Something that did not survive. My breath catches when I hear a small sound, weak and trembling, coming from beneath a cracked shell near the edge of the wreckage. I should walk away. Every instinct built into me by training says walk away. Drashkari law forbids humans from touching their young, and breaking that law means death. No trial, no mercy. But the sound comes again, thinner this time, like something fading, and I cannot make my legs move in any direction except toward it. Inside the shell is a creature no bigger than a cat, scales the color of dull silver, eyes barely open, shivering so hard its whole body trembles. It looks at me, and for one strange moment, the fear in its eyes matches the fear in mine. I do not decide to help it. My hands decide before my mind catches up. I strip off my thermal jacket, still warm from my own body, and wrap the small creature inside it, holding it against my chest as the wind cuts through my thin undershirt. My fingers turn numb within minutes. I do not let go. Night falls fast on Ashven, and the temperature drops low enough to freeze exposed skin in minutes. I find a shattered piece of hull plating and drag it over both of us, creating a small shelter from the wind. The creature presses closer to my chest, its small chest rising and falling in short, frightened breaths. I do not know its language, if it even has one yet, so I hum instead, an old tune my mother used to sing when I was a child afraid of storms. Its breathing slows, its trembling eases. For a moment, on a hostile moon, surrounded by wreckage and cold enough to kill, something small and frightened trusts me completely. Hours pass. I give it the last ration bar from my emergency kit, breaking it into pieces small enough for its tiny mouth. My own stomach aches with hunger, but I do not care. Somewhere in the dark, distant lights sweep across the horizon, a patrol ship scanning the crash site. I press us both flat against the ice, praying the wreckage hides our heat signature. The lights pass without stopping. I let out a breath I did not know I was holding. By morning, the creature has grown just enough to stand on its own, wobbling on 4 thin legs, wings still too small to be more than useless flaps of skin. It looks up at me and makes a small sound, almost like a question. I decide to call her Ashven, after the moon that almost killed us both. Rescue finally arrives near midday, a human salvage crew tracking my emergency beacon. Before they reach me, I hear Drashkari chatter over an intercepted channel, cold and clipped, discussing the nest and confirming that any surviving hatchling without verified bloodline is to be destroyed on sight. My chest tightens. I do not think. I hide Ashven inside my jacket, tuck her against my ribs, and when the rescue crew finds me, I tell them there were no survivors at the crash site, only wreckage and ice. That single lie changes everything that follows. Years pass in short bursts of memory. Ashven grows faster than any creature I have ever seen, her wings strengthening within months, her scales shifting from dull silver to something that catches starlight like liquid metal. I raise her in cargo holds and rented rooms across quiet outposts, teaching her simple words, watching her learn to laugh in her own way. a low rumbling sound deep in her chest that always makes me smile. The Drashkari eventually discover what I did. My name is stripped from every registry that once let me travel freely between systems. I become a smuggler, moving quietly through backwater routes, always one step ahead of anyone asking questions about a missing hatchling. I do not regret it, not once. Every night Ashven curls beside me, warm and steady, feels like proof that walking toward that crater instead of away from it was the only decision that ever mattered. By the time she is fully grown, Ashven is no longer something I can hide inside a jacket or a cargo hold. She stands taller than any building I have lived in, wings wide enough to blot out a rising sun, scales shining like frozen starlight across her back. Yet when she looks at me, there is still that same small trembling creature from the crater, still trusting, still choosing to stay close, instead of flying far beyond my reach. The trouble finds us on a quiet evening, docked at a fueling station near the edge of Drashkari territory. Warning lights flash across every screen in the station as 3 warships drop out of hyperspace, their hulls marked with the sigil of the Drashkari ruling council. A voice crackles across every channel, cold and precise, announcing that they have come to reclaim what was stolen and erase all evidence of its survival. My hands go cold, not from the station's temperature, but from the memory of that first freezing night on Ashven. I step outside onto the docking platform, ready to stand in front of whatever comes next, because I made a promise to a shivering hatchling long before she understood what promises meant. Ashven lands beside me before the warships even finish their approach, her wings casting a shadow across the entire platform. She does not roar. She does not threaten. She simply stands there, calm and immovable, and something about her presence makes the warships slow their advance. A voice, older and rougher than the others, speaks from the lead ship, addressing Ashven directly, calling her by a name I have never heard before, a title belonging to a bloodline believed lost during a war fought long before I ever crashed on that frozen moon. It becomes clear in that moment that Ashven is not simply a hatchling who survived. She is heir to a line the Drashkari Council thought extinct, and her survival threatens the entire structure of power they have built since. Ashven turns her head toward me, just briefly, before answering the voice from the warship. Her words are steady, carrying across the platform louder than I expect from something spoken so calmly. She tells them that she remembers every version of strength they tried to teach her through fear and control, and none of it ever mattered as much as one cold night, when a stranger gave up his own warmth for something too small to survive on its own. The warships remain still, weapons powered but silent, as Ashven continues speaking, telling her own bloodline that mercy is not weakness, that choosing kindness when no one is watching creates something stronger than any army built on fear. I stand there, frozen not from cold this time, but from the weight of hearing a creature I once fed with my own hands defend everything I believed about simple decency in front of an entire fleet capable of ending both our lives in seconds. Something shifts in the silence that follows. The lead warship lowers its weapons first, followed slowly by the others. The voice from before speaks again, quieter now, almost uncertain, acknowledging Ashven's claim to leadership and requesting guidance rather than issuing threats. It becomes clear that the council itself has been fractured by years of conflict, searching for something steady enough to unite scattered factions once again. Ashven accepts their request, but only after turning back toward me one final time, addressing the fleet with words I never expected to hear directed at someone like me. She names me her chosen companion, not as property, not as a pet kept for sentiment, but as the only being she trusts completely across every system she now holds authority over. I do not know how to respond to titles or ceremonies. I never wanted either. All I know is the same instinct that pulled me toward a cracked shell in the middle of a freezing crater years ago, an instinct that told me protecting something small and frightened mattered more than any rule written to justify cruelty. Standing on that platform, surrounded by warships that once came to erase us both, I understand something simple and clear. Kindness offered without expectation of reward has a way of returning far greater than anything given. A single choice made in the cold, wrapping a dying creature inside my own jacket instead of walking away, reshaped an empire built on fear into something capable of choosing mercy instead. Ashven nudges my shoulder gently with her massive head, the same gesture she made as a small trembling hatchling searching for warmth. I place my hand against her scales, steady now, unafraid, remembering every frozen night that led us here. Whatever comes next, across whatever systems she now leads, I know one truth will remain unchanged. The dragon I saved out of nothing more than instinct chose, every single day since, to save me right back.